Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
I don't care what nobody say. That's my jam. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And for them hating family members that's watching, y'all who be calling me Uncle Carlton, quit hating. Because I know I be jamming. I be doing more than the Carlton. Although I can tear that one up. I can. What's wrong with that dance? They just be hating. If they saw what they looked like, half of them, they would never get up and dance. I'm just saying. So, anyway, that's my jam. Why? Because it brings us together every morning, Monday through Friday, for what? You guessed it, illuminated conversations, where I show you my soul, and I'm hoping you'll trust me enough to show me yours. All that equates to is a divine conversation, an experience. Can I get an amen? Yes, that's the bell of purpose. And did I slip and fall and hit it? No, I did not hit that bell on accident. I rang it on purpose. And why? because just like the Bella Purpose right there has a ring to it, so does the truth. And when we get busy, we can forget or miss a whole bunch of stuff. But up in here, we don't miss no truth. We back that thing up and get that truth, take it with us. Can I get another amen? All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm excited to be here with you. It's almost time. One more day in the month of June, which is Pride Month. So Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo, my sidekick, y'all know her. She's got today off. She's gonna have tomorrow off. She off till next week. So in honor of Pride, I'm using my Pride cup. But Lucy will be back next Wednesday when we come back live. Just want you guys to know. Tomorrow's our last live episode. Friday, I'll be leaving. Hallelujah. Chicago, I got to go. I sound pretty good, even though I am still channeling Louise Jefferson, COVID throat. So anyway, I went this past weekend to Dick's Sporting Goods. I got this bomb ass cooler for real. You can pull it, it's on wheels, got all kind of stuff on it. Got that. What else I get? Oh, all my tackle stuff. And this baby. Got my new fish. I won't break it before I can get out here. Yes, yes. We are headed up to Michigan, getting out of the city, heading up to Michigan to the lake house. And excuse me, you guys know I love going there. I love to fish. I love sitting around that fire. We turn the internet off. We have data in case of emergency because there's nobody around that house for like 10 miles in every direction. So sometimes we be telling scary stories and then be scared sitting up all night. You know what I mean? Right. So anyway, I am going to get my head together. Y'all know self-care. Self-care is it's ultimate. It's ultimate. Must happen. You all of us, each of us, with our gifts and what we do to impact the world, including today's guest, who I'm going to get in here in just a moment. So hang on. We have an obligation to fiercely protect our gifts in this world and our opportunity to impact this world, which means self-care. Why? Because we are the trunk of the tree. All the branches, those are all of our little things that make us money, that bring us joy, our family, our community, our business avenues, all those things are branches. But the trunk, it is us. And all of our stories and all that we have lived through have created roots that we need to make sure that we nurture and take care of. Can I get an amen? So anyway, that's what I'm doing. It's my 60th birthday on Monday, the 4th of July. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. I remember when I didn't think I would make 20. Then I think I'd make 30. So on and so forth. But God has seen fit to bring me all the way, hopefully, we're a few days off, to 60 years old. And so we were going to originally, you guys remember, take off, Brian and I, and we were going to head to Europe, but we weren't going to do it now. We were going to wait and go in the fall. But then I got booked to speak in, I always get it wrong. Why I keep wanting to say Bolivia? It is, maybe I'm going there. Claim it. There it is. Manifest, y'all. Manifest. But it's not Bolivia. It is Romania. And so here we are. We're still going to Europe, just a different place. And best part is it's free, right? So we're doing that. So Brian can say, don't you want a party? It's a milestone birthday. Don't you want a bunch of... No. N-O. No, sir. I just want to go and be at peace. I want to talk to my heavenly host. I want to convene, just like I went up a couple of weeks and spent that time at my mom and brother's graves. You know, I don't ever want to get too busy to not go back to home base. And I mean that, you guys. And it's important for us to all remind each other to do that. Self-care, that is the subtopic of the day. Now, our guest today came to me. I really ain't even met him yesterday through Mikey J. And you know how pushy you know how tenacious he is. I ain't trying to get kicked out the movie before I get any good. So right. So anyway, we have Mr. Britton. I'm looking for something. Hold on. Carter here today. So his bio, wait a minute, it's on Mikey's page. I gotta put some music on. First of all, ain't no way I can read this whole thing, y'all. This is like reading The Color Purple. It's that long, okay? So I'm gonna paraphrase. On a cold, blustery January day, the 15th to be precise, in 1957. Not 50, 1957, in Cincinnati, Ohio. Mr. Britton Carter was born. Now, he attended high school there. He excelled in basketball. He was the first ever freshman to start varsity all 4 years of high school. And then he was recruited to attend the Mexico. Oh, he must have left Newark. I was like, and you still got a head? Okay, New Mexico. Get it clear. No, he did not go to the cartel. All you shit starters. No, he didn't. He went to the New Mexico Military Institute in Roswell, New Mexico, on an athletic scholarship, and then segued into the United States military for 2 years. And while he was there, he played European basketball. Now he lives in Cincinnati. I put the thing down because my eyes ain't good, right? I'm like, I ain't got my glasses in the car for reading. Oh yeah, because I need them for nighttime. I'm like, what they doing in there? I'll be reading while I'm driving, but I need them when I do. Let me tell you about this real quick before I get here. Guess how I got them glasses, y'all? I was in denial like a mug. I think I was 52. And I was somewhere and the GPS went out, kept on clocking. Right, I didn't see nothing. I was like scared. I think I was going to speak in like Iowa or something. I said, this show is nothing but cornfields and stuff out here, and it's nighttime too. Then a graveyard was right there to the right. I said, oh, hell no. So I got out the car because I couldn't see the street signs. I had to get out of the car, put the brights on first, get out of the car, and then go all the way up to the sign. Now, you know that don't make no sense. See, it wasn't self-care. I didn't give a damn. If I can't see that sign, a lot of things I can't see. See, we don't. Let me tell y'all one last thing before bringing it in. Because I'll get all melancholy and be preaching. I'm going to tell y'all something, though. For real, I had to make that decision to do better right then. Because if I got to get out the car to go look at a street sign, who's to say right around the corner, I'm not going to see that person that stepped out from behind. All that stuff. In the enemy, don't trust that sucker Cletus. Don't trust him. I tell you what, I tell him, anything that does not serve me, you better get on out of here. Right? I ain't no grandmama clump. You ain't going to walk over and limp back. You going to crawl, half your body going to crawl away because I'm cutting you in half. I rebuke you. Right. That's right. Everything you want, everything you need to fulfill your divine purpose is already here. It's already here. All you have to do is do the right things, check the boxes, including the 4 agreements, be impeccable with your word. Don't make assumptions. Don't take nothing personally. And always do your best. Just like our guest coming in here. This is Mr. Britton right now. He's an actor. You're going to find out all about that. He's he's been in a lot of movies, and he's also involved in his community, has run for some seats and is still planning on doing more of that. And most impressive to me, he works to help people beat that demon of addiction. And, I dealt with that for about 14 years of my life until I realized I'm not addicted to drugs. I'm addicted to abusing the gift of invitation. Because every time I invited drugs into my world, they did exactly what they promised to do. Exactly. Right. And when I stopped inviting them in, they all of a sudden lost all their power over me. Think about that. I'm going to let it hang out there for you. Back it up. Take it with you. Here it comes in 3, 2, 1. Truth on the table. Here he comes. Put your hearts into this conversation. Put your hearts on the screen. That's our way of virtually clapping and welcoming our guest today. Here he comes, Mr. Britton Carter. Look, I just want to tell you, Mr. Carter, I know you was like, dang, is this boy ever going to shut up? I'm going to tell you why I did it, because I know who in the room with you. And I already know he's going to be butting in for the next 45 minutes. So I said, let me get my jug in now. I'm not going to tell you, I'll be in the house there. I'm playing. Mr. Britton, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Hey, listen, you're great. Absolutely great. I'm doing great this morning. You just fulfilled my dream. I always wanted to be on Arsenio Hall, right? And it's like, forget Arsenio. I'm on Lawrence show.
Hey, there you go. From your mouth to God's, y'all better listen up, NBC. So anyway, listen, I want you to take the screen for a moment. I'm going to dip out and just say hello to the audience. Let them know where you're at in the world. And kind of, if you could, fill in between those lines where I paraphrase and bring us up to today. And then we'll get started with the interview. How's that sound?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. All you.
Great. Hi, good morning, and thank you all for welcoming me into your homes this morning. My name is Britton Carter, Britton Delmar Carter, and growing up in Cincinnati, he kind of paraphrased, but 65 years old, um, went to New Mexico Military Institute. Sorry, I left off the new, but New Mexico Military Institute, which is in Roswell, New Mexico. Played basketball, had a pretty colorful career. Found myself in a dark place at one point. Um, and I had to reach down in myself to really climb up out of that dark space. And what I mean by that is, for me, tragedy kind of hit home at an early age. I was molested twice by the age of 8. And all this is pertinent because it added fuel. It kind of fed into my creative side. So being molested, losing a career at an early age, traveling a lot, I saw a lot of things. So a lot of things were coming into the mix, and we kind of don't know what's being created in that pot at that time. And for me, some creativity was given birth. Lost a career, as I mentioned, and I'm one of those guys that's pretty transparent. I pretty much try to tell the dark side in order for you to see the bright side of this thing. And so for me, my siblings, they were always supportive. However, I ventured off into prison at an early age after losing my career, selling drugs, that type of thing, and found myself trapped up in prison. Found myself addicted to heroin and cocaine for a long period of time, so almost over some 30 years, maybe. And from there, I just kept revolving. It became like a revolving door, in and out of prison, in and out, not really understanding what was going on with me. And and unlike Lauren, for me, I realized that, hey, I'm running from myself.
Yeah.
And, so at that point, when I realized it was my fear and the things that had happened to me early on in age by being molested twice, that really weighed heavy on me because everything became a challenge. And I started putting pieces together. One of the reasons why I excelled in sports was because you couldn't challenge me. You know what I'm saying? I met every challenge head on, and I excelled in it because I didn't want anybody taking advantage of me ever again. So pretty much so after prison, made a vow later in life, woke up one morning and said, hey, this has got to change. And the seed that actually fertilized that change was my writing a play while in prison. And the name of the play is entitled The Miracle. And
wait, I'm writing that down. We going back. We going back. Okay, The Miracle. Now I know. Let me put some red on it.
Okay.
Yeah, so because I got my little notes here. Cause it's so many. Oh.
Okay. So
I don't know. Wait a minute. Wait. I accidentally hit that. I'm excited. So you say, you 60 something. I'll be 60 next week. I don't know how to act yet. I don't know how to act at 60 yet. Because I'm excited about it. Because man, we have, you and I, quite a few similarities, parallels in our journey. And I can't wait to get up to the part where we talk about the acting. Because I'm going to do that first little thing in Mikey's right. And I'm really excited about that because I get to pour some. It gives me a place, I believe, to drop off some. I can cuss. It's my show. Shit, some stuff. I want to drop off some stuff, purge it, banish it. And what better place than to pour it into a role?
Exactly.
So I want to hear about that because I get that's pretty cathartic, I believe.
Right.
But
it is.
I got one question, a little off topic, but you was in Roswell. So did you head out to that Area 51 place?
No, I got trapped up.
You scared. You scared.
Yeah, I was going out there.
I knew it. I said,
aliens in my life.
We don't mess with ghosts. We don't mess with aliens.
Look, I don't know what you're looking at, but I'm pure. I'm pure African.
Look, if I was there,
ain't going.
I'd have been looking up every place. I wouldn't even go out at nighttime. Because I'd be like, yeah, it ain't sucking me up.
Hey, if I'm in the scary movie, I'm the one that ain't going towards the sound. I'm
Thank you.
Like,
and
you don't come on.
And I'm not gonna play the little. Why is it like in scary movie? Remember back in the day, it was always a little white girl who'd be running and then looking back. Why you looking back? You know it's back there. Just keep her. And then she fall and be trying to crawl. Right. I'll be like, you deserve to get ate up. So
that's
anyway,
right. That's right.
So listen, what did you mean? Let's put a name and a face on it.
Okay.
When you didn't say you lost a job. You didn't say, oh, I remember when I messed up that opportunity. You said, I lost a career. Right. Talk about that. Exactly what happened?
Okay. My drug addiction is basically what happened. My past finally spiraled out of control, caught up with me, and I couldn't balance and I got to be candid with you. I just couldn't balance the success that I was getting at that time. I was the first ever in my city in the state of Ohio to start varsity in the 9th grade and play 4 years. That was a big deal. So in my city, I was kind of like the first Michael Jordan.
So wait a minute. So can we and would we be accurate by calling that thing that came in that didn't serve you clearly ego? You were everything you touched turned to gold. So ego.
Yeah, absolutely. Ego,
what did it do? What did it do?
A lot of pride.
Yeah, pride. So, Britton, did it make you feel like you were invincible?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely. I really, absolutely. There was nothing I couldn't achieve at that point. And it's funny because you would think that you would kind of be reclusive and withdrawn after having such a horrific thing happen to you in your life, that you wouldn't really excel. But for me, it played the opposite.
Was it a secret? Was the molestation still a secret?
Oh, absolutely. I was a child that grew up in the 50s, in the 50s and 60s. And, and we heard all the terms, they wanted to call people who were, who desire something different, sissies, punks, fags, or whatever. And there was no way in the world I could go home and tell my Black mother, that I was molested, which did more damage than it did good. This is a secret that I buried for the longest, and it just happened to be that while in prison, this is where it really surfaced. While in prison, someone saw my play and they went to a computer and they had to find out who I really was. So the counselor called me to her office and she said, I looked you up. She said, what happened? That's all it took, and the floodgates opened. Somebody finally asked me what happened to me. You know what I'm saying? Nobody ever asked me what happened to me, what was going on in my life, because here it is. This is this guy that comes from, doing some great things in the community as far as high school, playing basketball, being very active, didn't appear to have any problems on the outside, who suddenly became an adult and started making bad decisions, and ending up in prison. Everything I started to touch now, instead of turning to gold, was turning to crap, because I was
straight up boo-boo.
Yeah, I was self-sabotaging. I was like, I don't deserve this. And there was no way in the world I could tell my family that.
So wait a minute. We want to make sure to get that one. You said, I don't deserve this, meaning the good stuff.
The good stuff.
Not the right.
Yeah, not the bad stuff. It was anything that happened to me that was good. If it was on the verge of being really successful, I share this with you. This is how bad it got. My mother, bless her heart, who's still living, she we had this big cabinet in the dining room. What? A china cabinet.
Oh yeah.
And it was where she displayed all my trophies and and newsletters and that type of thing. It was like my little shrine. And one of her girlfriends was over with it, and they were sitting around, and we call it tea time, but they was having they let nip.
Oh.
and
cheers.
and she was bragging on her baby, and look what my baby did, and this and this and this. And I came in, and she said, "Petey, show her." They call me Petey, by the way. That's my nickname.
They call you what?
Petey. Petey.
Okay, Pete. Oh, that's a good one.
And she said, "Petey, show Miss Juanita your trophy." And everything in me became fury, and I turned over the case. And that's when I realized you got this stuff here is bothering you so bad that you got some anger issues going on. Ooh. Now it's developing into anger issues. You know what I'm saying? I'm lashing out, because I don't know how to channel this thing. I don't know what's going on with me as a human being. I don't know. Actually, I don't know who I am. Where do I fit in? Is this something I brought on to myself? Is this where I want to be? What is it? Who am I living for? Okay. And at that time, I had no idea who I really was. I'm being tugged on from coaches and scouts to be this phenomenal athlete. I'm being tugged on by my family to do other things. Then I'm wondering, who do I want to be?
Britton, how old were you when you went into the system?
When I went into the system, I was 27 years old.
27 years old.
Yeah.
And how old were you when you finally walked away from there, never to go back again?
You almost made me cry to think about it. I was 55 years old.
Wow.
I was 55 years old. I had did life on the installment plan.
On the installment plan. I was headed that way.
Yeah.
And I was headed that way. Mm-hmm. And you know what's so interesting? The Judge Gary Bruce, who's a friend of mine now, he said to me, "Mr. Harris, there's so much potential within you, but if you don't make a change right now, if you don't decide right now, because I'm about to send you back, but you need to decide before I even send you out of here that this will be your last time, or I'll retire and you'll still be an old man coming back and forth through these same courtrooms.
Right.
Until you're dead." And man, that really just slapped me. And he was right. That was the very last step, because just like you said, somebody saw, he said something to me, so keep going. So I want to ask you, so, okay, you're in prison, because this happened to me too.
Right.
The life I live today, God showed it to me when I was laying out on the back 40 with my headphones and Walkman, staring up at the clouds, and showed me this life I live today. Exactly the way I'm living it. So I know God took me someplace and put me someplace where I can sit my ass down, where I could be shown what was to be and why everything that already happened had to be as well. How it all would come together and make sense eventually. God doesn't make mistakes. You know this, Mr. Britton. He merely keeps it interesting.
That's right.
He keeps it interesting. So we're in prison, and then you started healing clearly because you started allowing your gifts to come through you.
Right.
Instead of only doing things that came from you. So I'm talking about The Miracle. Tell us what that play is about. What's the storyline about? And take us down that road if you could.
I will. Actually, that happened on the heels of my last return to prison. Friend of mine had been murdered shortly after I entered back into the prison system. And this was a person who had been with me every day. We had been together every day. And the stark realization that had I been out there, I probably would have been murdered as well, and over drugs. So I sat down to really draft a letter to his family. And my attempts to draft a letter to his family, it developed into something else. I started seeing that I was really writing a story. And I just continued to write the story. And then writing the story, The Miracle, it became the title of The Miracle because I started seeing myself in this and in every phase. So what I did was I created 6 to 7 characters. Actually, the 7th didn't have a voice, and that was me when I was suffering pain. I didn't have a voice. So that's why the 7th person was there. The 6th that was there that actually had a a great deal of speaking lines was me at every phase of my life. At different
Yeah, I
times in
get
my
it.
life.
I
When
completely
I was
get it.
going to prison. So I was starting out, and I was old school. I was the central character in it. I was old school, and so once I developed this play in the storyline, guys would ask me what was I writing, and I was asking them, hey, look, listen to this. Here, take this, read this. So I found myself pulling other inmates off their bunks to become actors in this play. And most of these guys, a lot of these guys, they couldn't really read. They didn't have GEDs, that
Sure.
type of thing. They were just in prison. And nobody ever approached them from this vein. And I saw that they really gravitated to it. Some of them did music, some of them rapped and that type of thing.
Sure.
So it gave them a chance to really be expressive, through their own vein. And so we came up with the miracle. And, so the system allowed me to perform it in prison. And it just talks about the tragedies of Black men, even white men, people that go to prison. It talks about how it impacts the family, in particular, the women in your family, whether it's your mother, your sister, your aunt, your girlfriend, your niece, the little girl down the street. It impacts everybody when you go to prison, not just yourself.
Sure.
And for a lot of years, I thought that my pain was just solely my pain alone. I was selfish. This is mine. You know what I mean? But my pain was impacting everybody. It impacted those that watched me through my sports career, everything. So the verbiage that I used in there was this things that I had heard within myself and things that were said to me at different times of my life, such as when I first got off the bus. And here I am, and my first lines are, excuse me, but dang, here I am, back in this madness again. How did I ever end up back in this? The judge on my case was white. The prosecutor was white. My public defender was white. Hell, he didn't say nothing. Public defender started laughing with the prosecutor. Come to find out, they just thought I was some sort of common criminal, a threat to society. So that was the kind of verbiage.
Wait, hold on. And for those of you out there that don't realize what you've just witnessed, it's called a monologue. So
Exactly.
Wait, listen, hold that thought when we can return, because we have to take a short break to do some commercial stuff. But we're going to be back in about 2 minutes total. And when we come back, here's a few things that we're going to. I want to talk about because you said 55 was when you walked away from prison for the last time. You did say earlier that your mother's still alive. So I want to talk about that fear of losing your mom or any family member, anyone you love, while you're incarcerated and can't do anything about it. That also, I know what those Ohio prisons look like. Never been in one, but I stopped at one when I was being transported back from absconding on Transcorp, and we stopped to pick somebody up. Yeah. And I was like, man, this is like some Shawshank Redemption shit up in here, right? Just like Indiana. I was like, oh, I don't never want. Michigan, they look like dorms, like a college campus. Not over there. Look, for real talk, that's real. So listen, I want to talk about, like I said, fear of losing your mom while you're in there. Why do you think it took you all of that to get that ooey gooey chewy center from this Tootsie Pop known as life that you now know why it all had to be? I want you to explain that to somebody, and then we'd like to hear about what your favorite, because I can tell you could cook them. What was your favorite cook up? You guys stay put. We'll be back in just about a minute. Don't go away.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? Seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared. And even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started, one story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link.
Welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I am not Louise Jefferson, even though I sound like her. George! I'm Lauren Michaels Harris, Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris, and my guest, Mr. Britton, will be in here. Mr. Britton Carter will be right back in. I just wanted to remind you guys that because of the holiday coming up next week, the 4th of July, number 60 birthday, we will have a rerun being shown on Friday, also on Monday, and again on Tuesday. Yes, I'm getting away. So don't forget, but don't worry. Still great content, still there. But I'll be back in the flesh, God willing, Wednesday morning for our next live illuminated conversation. So don't forget, mark your calendars. Mr. Britton, welcome back. Before break, we talked about a whole bunch of stuff, that dark place, and a lot of what has led to the man you are today. Let's talk about the fear of, because I'm trying to get to that door where we find that we can do things that we always knew we could, but we were afraid to attempt for whatever reason. But sometimes these things, we find ourselves in places that aren't so comfortable or savory. And we ask, why would I have to go through this? Well, one of the things sometimes is that we remind ourselves of what to never become, but then also so that we can come out of it, get through it, and be an authority on it so that we can save other people the trouble. So let's talk about how you got to that point where the miracle, which is getting through all the things you had to really deal with and face head on. So one of them I know is fear of losing someone when you're in there. And your mother, you're blessed. You're so blessed to still have your mother. I'm like, wow, he's so blessed. So let's talk about it. What's the difference about the things that, when you didn't give a crap, and today, when you see something, you go, oh, because what I'm getting at, Britton, is, how some people, we get to the other side, but we still are beating ourselves up because we feel like we missed out, we lost, we can't, I want to try to catch up, that sort of thing. And you can't, you got to understand that you are exactly where you were intended to be. So I know you get that. Talk about that and use that to kind of segue into why you're doing the acting and what it means for you to be able to share through story.
Well, what I found out that one of the keys for me was acceptance. Once I discovered how valuable it was to have self-acceptance, then I was able to start opening up some doors that I was afraid to open prior to. So self-acceptance for me was basically the door opener, so to speak. I started seeing myself in a different light. And as you said, I started realizing I was exactly where I was supposed to be. I was supposed to have been in the belly of the beast in order to come out and to be of assistance or aid to somebody else. I had to not be selfish. I had to lose that selfishness. I had to be willing to give of myself to somebody else, regardless to who they were. People who suffered from the same nightmare that I did. I found myself really gravitating to them. And more to that point, I started seeing that I was losing family members. I had lost my first wife to cancer. She died in 2002 from cancer, and I was in prison, and it devastated me. Prior to losing her, I lost my father in 1999 while I was in prison, and had to be transported home to see him. So now I'm left with one parent. I've got siblings, but I have one parent left. And and as they say in the Bible, paradise lies at the feet of thy mother. And I knew I had to treat me better in order to treat her better. In order for me to give her what she deserved, I had to start doing what I needed to do for me to get me together. And that was the catalyst of basically my change. And it kind of like expanded, to the whole community, to my whole being. So I realized that once I started doing better for me, I can help other people. And then one day I just had this epiphany that my play was a message to me that I needed to become a miracle. And not just in my life, but in the lives of other people. I needed
And it
to
was
be
a
that
message
miracle
for you.
it was a message for me, and I think my way out or coming to realize that was the first time that I had acceptance from the powers that be. So I'm in prison and I have folks come down from central office to see the play, and they adored it, and they were crying. They had tears in their eyes, and they were talking about how they wanted their own kids to see this. And so upon leaving from prison and bringing my play with me, of course, I showed it in Cincinnati, Ohio for a month. And I had little elderly white women coming up to me and asking me, could I talk to their child? Could I be of help? With helping them understand drug addiction, or molestation or whatever, because I talk about everything so open and candidly. So I started seeing myself as this catalyst to be able to help other people
To help other people.
to help somebody else, and that's where my acting comes in. For me, acting is a stage by where your voice transcends into so many different people.
Yeah.
And in my city, my name rings like church bells. So it's like, oh, Petey is doing that. So it allows somebody to come to me and ask me exactly what you're asking me. How did I get out of that dark place? And how did I get here? What was the key factor?
Yeah.
So for me, it
what
goes back to, pardon me?
What indeed?
Yeah. So for me, it was, of course, God, a God of my understanding. And also just the fact that I started realizing that this thing is bigger than you. You know what I mean? Who are you to want this special treatment, this special way out? I had to make a way out.
What exactly do you mean? What exactly do you mean when you say this thing is bigger than you?
Okay, this thing, and when I say this,
what you're talking about.
And when I say this thing, I mean this thing that we call life itself, all the pain and the struggles that go into it, even the good times. But more
so pretty much,
point,
I'm sorry, but pretty much, if I'm understanding, is what you're saying is it boils down to what each of our divine missions.
Exactly.
What our mission is in this life, this journey. Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I discovered mine.
I want to kind of segue from right here. I have a little clip. I want to share with everybody because you still do this work today, and I mean working in the drug and addiction world. And I know when I came out of my addiction, like I don't know, 12 years ago, for some reason I thought people stopped getting high. I thought nobody did crack anymore. It's like now when so did you hear about little Lucretia? Yep, she out there on that shit. I'm like, what? People still do it? Right. So I wanted to show a little something because it's not going away, folks. It's not going away. Right. This is the most recent thing I found from about 4 months ago, and we're going to watch just a minute or two. Then I want to get your take on what the pulse is in your world with this epidemic and what we can do. So let's take a look.
Good Saturday morning, everyone. Today on Perspectives, when you hear a news program with the words epidemic and crisis, what do you do? Well, we do know that some viewers are ready to close their ears and tune us out. But this time, we're talking about the opiate epidemic. In the age of COVID, the fight against narcotic addiction has not received as much attention in the press, but believe us, the threat has never gone away. And sadly, it has gotten worse. According to the Centers of Disease Control, drug overdose deaths have now topped 100,000 people for the very first time. In fact, the 12-month tally of estimated deaths has now overlapped COVID-19.
Wow.
And today it marks another grim milestone in the U.S. fight against the use of illegal opiates. In addition to the current situation, you will hear of another opiate that has surfaced and is now killing thousands, fentanyl. According to the CDC, fentanyl is 100 times more potent than morphine. What it makes it worse, though, is the fentanyl sold on the street is illegally made, which means if an addict or a first-time user buys it, they never know if that will be the dose that kills them.
Right.
Okay. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, glory, Father Abraham. I'm just saying, if I could speak in tongues, I would. Hasababaka. Because I'm saying, by the grace of God, I am so glad that my ass ain't, because you know that's a hook. Be pulling you. And how, so tell us, Britton, what's going on? What's going on, man?
Well, actually, what's going on is it's another illness that we're not looking at. First of all, is undiagnosed mental illness. We completely play past that. You know what I'm saying? So when we look at this, at the drug epidemic, and when we talk about addiction itself, we have to go back to the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is, why are you trying to use something to feel better about yourself? You know what I'm saying? Or make you feel accepting of yourself. We always look for stuff outside of ourselves to make us feel better inside. So what happens is, in missing the diagnosis of mental illness, you know, you find that folks are medicating. And I go back, they're medicating to feel better, to be able to accept something that happened. In my case, it had been building for a number of years. Since I was 8 years old, I kept looking for something outside of myself to be accepting of myself. And I found it in things that were mood altering. You know, of course, we start out with a cigarette, with alcohol. Finally, you get some weed, and you're like, "Oh, okay, this is doing this thing." And then all of a sudden, you're introduced to heroin or cocaine, such as my case, where oftentimes the addict is persecuted more so than helped. You know, so I think that the key for me would be to start looking at preventive measures long before we get to the point where they're going to prison and whatnot. The first time that they show signs of some mental illness, some things going on, some depression, some stress, you know, you sit around and you think that your kid's just having a bad day. No, it may be something much deeper, you know, and before you know it, they're using full blown. And now we have children that have gone from childhood addiction to now they're full-blown adult addicts, you know, and we're met here with all these measures that actually don't work. They don't work. It's, you know, we talk about housing. You talk about housing an addict. You know, we have all these pop-up programs, you know, and they're actually designed. It's great in theory that to have some place to go. But, you know, what we're talking about is basically suppressing, you know, the use for a time until they can get back. So you look at Medicaid, you look at the billing process, that becomes a factor. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm getting paid, of course, we're going to create these places for you to be so we can get this money. But are we really addressing the true issue?
So the work you do in the drug addiction arena in Cincinnati, I'm assuming you're working with quite a few people of color or disenfranchised, displaced, all of the above. So about the fentanyl thing, what? Because see, I'm just keeping it real, and those of you who aren't black out there probably don't understand, but those of you who are know what I'm talking about. You know, you should be scared of that stuff. Just the name of fentanyl. I mean, weed is one thing. You know what I'm saying? Some powder or whatever. But when it gets to that point with that kind of stuff in it, and Ain't that the thing that was in the Michael Jackson overdose?
Well,
Didn't they say
propofol.
fentanyl? And I think that's the first time I heard it.
No, it was they called it propofol.
Oh yeah.
But it's
See,
fentanyl.
well, that's his cousin. I'm just saying
Yeah,
a
that's
word I
because
can't pronounce.
that's
So I'm
because
like, so tell me, is that slowing it down? Are people in the community like, I don't want to mess with that? It could have that fentanyl, or is it don't? It just don't matter.
it just don't matter. You know what I'm saying? What you have is a disproportionate of the numbers that are reported. So when you look at the fentanyl, when we talk about fentanyl, and first of all, let me say this about fentanyl. You know, you got to know what you're using, right? So fentanyl is an anesthetic. You know, they use fentanyl in the operating room to put you to sleep. That's what the anesthesiologist uses to come in, put you to sleep so you can have this surgery. So actually he's killing you, and it's a person there to kill you and then to bring you back to life. Hold on to that.
Well,
Because
that sounds very intriguing. Not.
you know what I'm saying?
I'm like, okay, well.
So here we are now, and we're talking about the numbers. So what's really reported, you see a large portion of whites using fentanyl. You see
People are buying it straight now, right?
They're buying straight fentanyl. They're not even playing with it. They're not even faking the funk no more. They getting straight up Fenny. You know, that's the short name for it. They getting them some Fenny, and that's that. They cutting to the chase. You know.
What did you just call it?
Fenny. That's that's kind of like a nickname for it. Instead of saying fentanyl, yeah, you got.
They've nicknamed it.
Oh, they nickname it. They yeah, they do it all with it. They nickname it. They got code names for it, just like they do with heroin.
Jesus, I'm telling you right now, in this moment, I'm so grateful to God for saving me. Oh my goodness.
I know that's right.
I'm serious. I feel like I had to lay flat on the floor and hide my face. I'm just telling you, I'm feeling that way right now.
Yeah.
But what time is it? Okay, we got 7 minutes. So let me ask you, last thing about that. So what is it that keeps you going out there on the front lines, so to speak? Having come through, because a lot of people might say, well, you a recovering addict. You sure you want to be out there close to them people? What if you get triggered? That sort of thing. What keeps you grounded?
What keeps me grounded? Number one, I know that it's a place that I've been in my life. So what actually keeps me grounded is wanting to see somebody have what I have. You know, to give somebody an opportunity.
And what do you have? And what is that you have?
I have freedom. I have freedom today. I have freedom from addiction, from lying in the gutter. I have freedom from being in prison. I have freedom from making these unhealthy choices that hurt people that I know, people that I care about, you know, myself. I have freedom. I have total freedom. You know, I don't have to wake up and be sick. I don't have to wake up and say, I got to go get some dope to feel well. I don't have to have cocaine to make me feel up. I don't have to have heroin or opioids to make me, to sedate me. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't have to do that. I don't have to go out and cash your check and everybody else's check. And you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Take people's stuff. I don't have to do none of that. So that in itself, knowing that this is all the things that I go to. Look, this is what I do today. I even employ addicts that live around my community, who most people want to hurry up and ride past. Oftentimes they're white, sometimes they're black, but they're out there. They're dirty. They don't have any money. They carry signs. They hang out by the expressway. They ask for change. I give those people an opportunity, such as maybe doing something in my yard, doing my yard work. I do for them what was never done for me. I treat them like human beings.
Thank you.
You know, they're human beings. They just have a illness right now. And if you know anything about drug addiction, you know that it is considered a mental illness. It is not the plague. It is a mental illness. It can be treated. It can be arrested. It may not be cured, but it can be treated, because you're always an addict from now and forever. You have to do the things to stay free. There's things I have to do. I have to go to a meeting. I have to talk openly and candidly and tell you the truth about who I am, because I have to even watch out for the good times. Success can hurtle me back into the grips of my addiction.
You're not. That's true.
If I'm not careful,
that's true. That's true.
I'm not careful, I'd be grandiose, because I like to dress.
It's all based on one thing. Once we understand and embrace what we know, what we see, what we understand, and then, that means that you're doing your best. Once you find that place where you can honestly and candidly say, I'm doing my best, what is greater than you then takes care of the rest. That is a fact. It's called the power of you. And I want to, before we get out of here, I wanted you to be able to tell us, because somebody forgot to put the links in. I ain't gonna say who. And,
yeah. He over here just not
all right.
Yeah, he did.
But he's asleep.
He done fell asleep on me.
Oh no! Let me tell you, that's possum. Because I was gonna tell you, I hope you got. If your refrigerator ain't got a lock on it, you better get one, because he can eat.
You already know, don't you?
I can tell he can eat. By the way he chew, I can tell he can eat. Right?
Yeah.
Watch. Right. I'm telling you what. Listen, what's coming up that we can expect to see you in? Tell us a little bit about what's come around the corner, known as the future for Britton Carter.
Absolutely. Gonna throw my hat in the ring again in the next 2 years in Cincinnati for a public office. But more important for me right now is the fact that I'm involved with Michael Stephen Paul, Mikey J, who we're talking about, and he's a film content creator. We've done several movies together. We have a whole list of movies that we're doing together. Hopeless Romantic. Big movie, great movie, loved it. Time Matters is coming up, but more importantly, we got this Keys and Cups. Y'all better watch this Keys and Cups, right? So we're doing a lot of movies together, and now I'm elevated to the level of associate producer with Mikey in the Anya Film Group family. So we're doing a lot of things. We're doing TV shows, and I'm trying to rush through it. We're doing a television series. We're here in Cincinnati right now. We're going to film this Saturday on a series entitled Cougars.
Right.
It's by Dr. Lou Geppe, who wrote the piece, but Mikey's going to film it and and kind of direct it. And I'm gonna be there as the preacher.
Nice.
I
can see
gonna
that.
be the reverend, and I'm gonna be talking about morality.
Okay.
All things. So,
I'm excited. I'm excited to that you are here today. I'm excited about what you're doing in the world today, and I'm excited around everything that's headed your way. And I want to thank you for taking your time to come in and be transparent and to empower us today and pour into us with story. I really, truly appreciate it. There's the bell. And I just wanted to say, as we get out of here, to all of you, listen, step from behind the shame. There is no shame in your journey. There is no blame in your journey. How can I say that and truly mean it? I'll tell you why. Because right now, in this moment, everything that ever lied on me, talked about me, betrayed me, abused me, on and on and on. I bless them all. I forgive them all. And then I just let them go and do what they need to do. Why can I do that? How can I do that? Because every one of those things, how bad can they be? They led me to you. So take that with you. Take you, Mr. Britton. Thank you again. And I will see you all again bright and early tomorrow morning, God willing. Where? You guessed it. I'll run on the front porch as we come together to fulfill that promise that guarantees us when two or more of us comes together and we've got a plan, a heart set, a mindset, and a soul set that is in agreement. I say, miracles will happen. Get out there and see that miracle you want to see today. Thanks, Mr. Britton. God bless you. And I hope you come back again. Okay.
I will. Look forward to seeing you on set.
Thank you. Everybody have a great day. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And I'll